We are clear to engage, over. We'll follow that road inbound to reduce collateral damage. Be advised, we're going to get to completely eliminate any collateral damage.
Usually have visual on two cordless rifles that I did after this one.
White car! Suppressing! Let's go! North, let's go, get it done!
Not all war wounds can be seen. Post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, is called an invisible wound of war, and River Hospital in Alexandria Bay has a unique program to help soldiers cope. So, Kim, one of the walls that's prominent here at River Hospital is this one that we're going to look at. And above it, it says the healing of invisible wounds starts here, and it has these handprints all over it. What does this wall mean to you and to the people that come here?
Well, Jeff, this actually started out as a group project as part of our art therapy. And if you notice, in the middle of the wall is just a small canvas with some handprints. Because initially we started out here with about 8 to 10 clients. And so I've come up with the idea that, well, it'd be kind of cool for them to put their handprint, per se, on the program. And then they were asked to bring in, to put in the palm part, either their unit pin or unit patch. And that's optional if they wanted to do that. After we got done with doing this project, the clients thought it was such an awesome idea that they wanted to take it bigger. They wanted to do a wall. So I had them, go through the proper channels, check with Brad Fry, our program director, and it was kind of cool because we were able to bring both groups of individuals together, and they come up with about 6 to 8 different ideas for quotes, and then they all voted on the quote that they wanted, which is the healing of invisible wounds start here. Then one of the clients actually took it to the sign shop out on Post, had it made, and then he took it home and actually made the frame and stained it, and then we brought it back in. So the idea is that each client that comes into our program, one of the first things that I have them do as part of art therapy is to paint their hand in any color that they want, or colors, and to place their handprint on the wall. Either they could put their full name or just initials, and then usually the date of their admission to the program. Some of them will even go as far as putting, the date of admission, but also their date of discharge. It's become kind of that symbolic welcome, to the clients that are coming in, making them feel kind of as part of the program.
The program has different facets, including yoga, but the staff comes up with other creative ways to help soldiers, including fishing, group therapy, and art. Why does art work?
Well, Jeff, art has a means of being able to allow a different type of voice. With talk therapy, most of the time you have to think about what you have to say. Through art, it's done very subconsciously. It allows the person to kind of just create, get in touch with that muse that they have deep within them. Sometimes you don't have to think about art. When you're like in the zone, they say whether you're playing basketball or art or something, you're just able to delve deep inside and be able to just create. And a lot of times with the soldiers here, it's getting in touch with those emotions and those thoughts and feelings, horrific as they may be, that are developing the symptoms of PTSD. So it's allowing them that safe means. Art is a very safe modality for them to be able to do that with.
With some of the experiences that these soldiers have had, and now they have PTSD, it's darn scary. So some of the stuff that can come out of here can be maybe disturbing to somebody that doesn't know exactly what they're looking at. Do you see that as well, or do you encourage people to look beyond just the few basic colors that are within in a painting or something that could give you that impression that it's just kind of a scary painting?
Right. Well, all of the artwork that's done here, number one, the clients are able to take that with them after they, when they leave upon discharge. But the majority of them keep them here. They donate them back to our program just because it is dark. It is something that they don't want hanging on their walls at home. We've had various art shows, and I've been able to talk with people, from the community. And I remember one particular lady, she come up to me and she says, "Wow," she says, "this is very dark and almost haunting." And I said, well, ma'am, I said, you really have to stop and think about how dark and haunting war is. And I said, and that's what's being left on, the psyche of our soldiers.
Does it take it away? It takes the pain away? Does it clear them of the pain?
It starts to. In fact, the one painting up here, that soldier worked on that for 3 months. That was a recurrent nightmare that he had had. And it was an actual incident, trauma incident that occurred while he was in war. And he would get so triggered, he would work on it for a little bit, and then he'd put it away, and then he'd come back to it a few days later. So it took him like 3 months. But by the time he finished that and he processed that, and this was a nightmare that he had had since 2006, and he was in our program last year, so that's to 2013, so that's 7 years.
That he held that inside.
He held that inside, and after he painted that, processed it with the group, he no longer had that nightmare.
This program is the only one of its kind. Here you are doing this work. How rewarding is it when you help a soldier leave that trauma behind and you see them walk out of here a different person?
Oh my God, there's nothing better, because I always say it's not about me, as the art therapist here. I'm here to just kind of guide them, to kind of let them be safe, provide that safe environment where they can delve deep in and get in touch with, all of that pain and that anger and that grief.
Rob is a 14-year veteran of the U.S. Army, serving 4 tours overseas.
A lot of the traumas that I've sustained from this stuff stems from my 3rd deployment and a lot of the experiences that I had during that time. So, it's stuff I've been holding on to for a while, but, didn't really come to terms with it until just recently.
Is it hard to come to terms with? Because is the environment easy? Like in the Army, is it easy to come to terms with it because you're supposed to not show weakness?
Yeah, I mean, it's, in the Army, especially being a leader, the big thing about being a leader is just putting up that strong front, letting your soldiers see that you're not broken. And if you're not broken, then they're not supposed to be broken. So for a leader to admit pain, suffering, that's a stigma that some people don't like. So it was really hard for me to really accept the fact that I had some problems that I had to resolve. If you have like a significant event in your life, I was just separated from my wife for a while. She was living in one state, I was living in the other. And, coming back, from being all that separation, we had our troubles and stuff like that, so we argued a lot. And sometimes that one emotional jarring is what you need in order to open Pandora's box. And as soon as that opened, it was a floodgate of emotions that I haven't experienced in a long time and didn't know how to deal with. Guilt, paranoia, sadness, happiness, I basically turned all that stuff off and locked it up. But as soon as I opened up, it was just a weird feeling of uncertainty.
Uncertainty is one emotion the program helps soldiers deal with, and there are many more. And professionals at River Hospital believe it's just a matter of time before a soldier with PTSD needs help.
Well, I think it speaks to the stigma that they don't get help until they cannot go another step. It's unlike any other time, I think, in war. These guys have gone multiple times, and we're not used to dealing with the effects of that. And in my opinion, it's inevitable that you break after you get pushed that long. And there are a variety of injured, and they come here, a large variety of symptoms and needs, and we try to address that individually.
Mike is a 22-year Army veteran and arrived on scene at a helicopter crash that killed his buddy in Afghanistan. He says art helped him.
PTSD, it's a 4-letter acronym, but is it a 4-letter word? People don't want to talk about it. They don't want to say it.
No, they don't. It does bring that stigma where you hear somebody that's got PTSD. it's like, either, oh, be careful, he's going to explode on us one of these days, and bad things are going to happen. Or on the flip side of that, it's, he's not tough enough to work through it. He's not strong. So, we're not going to deal with this guy. So it does bring a weird dynamic to birth, work, and life, and it's pretty tough to work through.
And as a leader, like in your situation, you're not supposed to be weak. You're supposed to be strong. You're supposed to set the example. So is that more pressure to where you're putting that on the shelf?
It is, yes, absolutely. You're supposed to be that strong guy. You're supposed to be the go-to guy, and that example, that rock that other people can lean on. Especially for somebody like me who likes to help people out. And when I can't, it's a blow to your ego. It's a blow to to who you think you are, and it makes you step back a minute and try to figure out who I am and what's going on.
Part of the program here is art. The therapy program here at River Hospital, they have different ways of helping you, and you did this. I call it a sculpture. I'm not really sure what it's made out of, but please educate me about what this is, and if you would kind of go around and point and tell me what it means to you, and then how did it help you?
A lot of my deployments that I went on, I was in Phoenix Battalion, and a great battalion, and I thought it was quite fitting to be able to do some of this symbolism in a unit organization that I was a part of, so that was kind of neat.
So as I look at it, I see the helicopter that's crashed over here. Is that a symbol of the crash that you had to go to as part of your job, and where your buddy died?
Yes, it is. It is. So yeah, an OH-58 is the aircraft that I decided to use for this. The actual crash itself was unfortunately a lot more significant than what you see here, but I wanted to do something that made it look like an aircraft. And as a medevac guy, I have seen, unfortunately, these kind of things just time and time and time again. I've got just images burned in my mind that I'm never gonna get rid of. So
I can tell that it's tough to talk about for you when you talk about this piece. There's a lot of emotion, but this helped you.
It did, absolutely. It's destroying the equipment was therapeutic in a weird way. It's difficult to describe, but
so when you took the helicopter and you tore it apart and you made this, that was therapeutic.
It was. It really was. To be able to see, the imagery and to see the people like that, it was. I've seen enough of this stuff. I both love and I both hate this project at the same time. I love it because it's a neat project. I enjoy putting it together and painting it and everything else. It's a lot of fun stuff. But I hate it at the same time for what I'm looking at.
So this program here, it's helping you, and from where you were and where you are now, give me a sense of how much you have improved.
Night and day, to be honest with you. I started out, I realized, geez, it's been more than 2 years now that, I have some issues. And, I learned the value of not just group therapy, but, the kind of stuff that they do here. The art therapy, relaxations, meditation, and just talking.